Yeah, bro. Life's good.
That's exactly how I feel. Life is good, and there's a lot of big things on the horizon for all of us, I think, and
for real, dude.
Stepping into it and being ready for it when it comes is kind of all we can do. But at the same time, we got to put ourselves out there so it can come.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's something I didn't really put a lot of thought into until recently, but life is always working in your favor if you let it. Like, I've got all these great people around me that are doing great things and they are lifting me up, but I have to put my hand back up and grab theirs and say, all right, let's go. If I don't reach up for myself, I'm still not going to get there.
Exactly.
And that's something I've realized, and especially the last couple of weeks post that journey, I've kind of reflected back at my life, and I'm like, I have all these great things and these great people, and all of them are rooting for me. All of them are pulling me up, and I'm what's stopping me from going higher. And so get out of my own way, reach up, do the work, be better.
Well, bro, I feel like, I know we're only two sessions deep on this, but I feel like the growth from our first session to our second has been incredible.
I would agree.
And I also think that, like this morning, I'm still kind of getting used to not being on Japan time. I was up at like 9 and I was just like exhausted. I should have downed coffee and just powered through, but I was just like, I know I have this avalanche course this weekend and that's going to take a lot of energy. So I'm kind of like trying to let my body sleep when I like feel asleep. And I honestly forgot we were doing a pod today.
That's all right.
and for you to show up, even though I wasn't texting you back, I didn't answer any of your calls, you showed up anyway. Like, that means a lot, dude. That's what we need to keep this thing consistent and keep this thing going. If you were the type of person where it's like, oh, he didn't text me back, he's probably busy, he probably forgot, like, I'm just not going to go because he's probably, but no, you showed up. Like, we didn't even talk to Brad. Brad Lancaster was going to be our guest today. He wasn't able to make it, but you didn't care. You were like, I haven't talked to anybody and I'm just going to show up anyway.
Hey, we're going to run it.
That's what it is, bro.
Showing up is what matters. And as long as we show up, we're going to get something done. Absolutely.
And even if it ever happens where I'm an idiot and I'm not even here, let yourself in, click record, turn the 2 lights on.
Get it running.
Sit here and freaking talk about how I'm an idiot who didn't show up, but you're going to be Mr. Consistent. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like,
it takes accountability, right? Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, dude. You can show up and use the studio at any time, bro. So
I'll plan on it.
Yeah, so feel free. If you got something you want to say, you want to share with the world, like, you already know, dude, your voice needs to be heard, dude. It's time for your voice to be heard. That's why we're here.
I love and I appreciate that. And, just at the beginning of this, kind of just talking on my own, it's a little choppy at first. I'm not super fluent and comfortable talking all the time, but actually in that journey, there was a couple times where I kind of just found my stride and I was able to just say everything the way I wanted to say it, when I wanted to say it. And it just kind of continued to flow.
Yeah.
And that's something I always struggle with is, what do I say? How do I say it? And I kind of have some hesitation in my voice, but I've kind of gotten to a point, especially even today, just sitting down here talking, I can kind of just let the words roll and they're doing what they want them to do and they're saying what I want to say. And I'm yet to make a mistake in a way that I don't mean what I say. And it's really cool to kind of just let my voice go. And
yeah.
Cause I'm very much an analytical human and I like to sit and think and process and like look at things and make sure I'm doing what I want and say what I want. And
sure.
To kind of slow down and let my words kind of work a little bit faster than my brain and allow it to just kind of go is really kind of freeing, honestly, to be able to just start going and saying and accepting it.
It's awesome, dude. Yeah. I'm stoked for you. I know that we're only going to get better. And in fact, like, now that I was thinking, as you were saying that, it would probably be a really good call, at least for like our first bit, if you came a little early. And we just did like a practice run where we, rattle off some stuff, and we might probably maybe not upload this whole thing. I don't know. Maybe we do, maybe we don't.
Yeah, we'll see.
And maybe we want to cut stuff. I know for me, for the first pod, I did have Nick cut out one part where I was like, oh, I don't know what to say. And I was like, cut that out. Don't put that in there. So like, we could do little edits, cuts, and if we want to just cut it up for like the story, you know what I mean? That like story posts or like, shorts or, whatever, for the YouTube channel, which we haven't even started yet. We haven't even named this podcast, but
we're figuring that out. We'll workshop it.
That's the difference, I think, between like people who ultimately like succeed and people who don't is like, people are perfectionists where they think before you can start, everything has to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
I'm a completionist. So I just want it to be completed, right? So we completed our first pod. Oh, yeah. That's a success. It doesn't need a name. It doesn't need to be recorded perfectly. One of our cameras died. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. We'll
roll with the punches and let's get it out there. Let's get it going anyway.
You get started and then you make it perfect. If you think you're going to be perfect before you ever start, you'll never start. You always fail. You need to start in the shittiest position possible so that as you get going, you can create that momentum for yourself and you can feel like, oh, well, at least it's not as shitty as the other one. At least it's not as shitty as it was yesterday. At least my business has better than that. So it's almost better to start it in the most early possible phase and get going and get the momentum going so that as you build it along the way, the shittier it is in the beginning, the easier it is to make those improvements. And then you start building up your confidence, you start building up the momentum. If you're like, oh, it needs to be perfect, and then you think it's perfect, like let's say, you've got your name, you've got your equipment, you've got your guests, you've got everything's dialed, and then it retraces, that's super discouraging. Oh yeah. And then you're like, oh, fuck, it was good, and now it's getting shittier. I would way rather just start a giant shithole and then just clean it up as you go. And then it's always up. And it's so much easier to have the energy and have the momentum when you're winning and when you're growing than when you're getting, shit kicked out of you, right? There's an analogy like for fighters where they're like, I think Andrew Tate says this, where he's like, you're never tired when you're winning. It's always when you're getting beat up, that's when you're exhausted. But it's like, if you're winning, if you're growing, you're progressing, then you have all the energy and the fuel. And what easier way to grow than to start at the very bottom, start at the very beginning. Let it be really crappy when you first start so that as you go, it improves.
Say with that, the biggest improvements are at the beginning. When you are the shittiest, you're going to make the most growth and improvement the fastest. So you're going to build the most momentum so much faster, so much better, and so 100%. Much more effectively that you're going to be on a roll so much higher than the guy that starts at the top.
Absolutely. And that's one of my favorite things about being new at stuff. Like, right now I'm learning how to surf. So I'm actually going to Texas in a couple weeks and, or later this month to go to a buddy's wedding. And I booked a trip up to Waco to go to their surf pool because I'm horrible at surfing. But it's like in one session, you learn so much because I don't know anything, right? I don't know how to spot the waves. I don't know how to paddle in. I don't know how to pop up. I don't know how to ride the wave. But when I kind of ride the wave or when I kind of pop up or when I kind of do something right, it feels incredible, right? They talk about the learning curve, and the steepest part is at the beginning. Then once you get, to a certain point, then it starts tapering off and it starts to become harder and harder. You got to put in more and more and more work to get those incremental improvements, So yeah, exactly like you said, dude, in the beginning, that's when you see the most growth, and growing is the funnest part. So
the reason we do everything is to grow and be better humans and be better at whatever we're doing. So
absolutely, dude. I couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Well, should we see where Dart's at? Should we take a little breather, maybe get a coffee break?
Sure. We take a little time out, come back.
Pull a guest in here and then go from there.
I love it. Let's do it.
Cool. Let's do it. You are filling in for us. We appreciate it. This was kind of a last minute thing to pull you in here, but I'm glad that you were down.
Yeah.
Dart's our foreman. Is that fair?
Foreman's a good word.
Foreman. I'd say you're my foreman. You go.
Forgot to do this for the first part of this podcast.
What?
Mention our sponsor, Happi Roofing.
Oh yeah, we did. Thank you. Shout out Happi Roofing for sponsoring this episode. You are the best sponsor of all time. Speaking of which, you actually work for Happi Roofing, right?
I do. When did I start? 8 months ago?
Dude, has it already been 8 months?
Something like that. Feels like it's been a month.
Oh my gosh, it feels like it's been a month. You're right.
Started lead setting, and then I went straight into...
And then we were like, you're going to build stuff better.
Yeah. Well, even then, I'm way too mechanically inclined and engineering to be able to be selling doors.
It's true, dude. It's true. I've loved having you oversee all the subs, and instead of having to coordinate with a freaking siding guy to come out and do a little thing, Dart's just like, oh, I can do it. Or he can do anything, dude. In fact, I recently kind of after work, he would, work on my bikes and stuff. He'd do mechanical stuff for us as well. I'd say you're like 80% foreman, 20% mechanic around here. You keep the rigs running, keep the dirt bikes on the track.
More like 80% foreman and 50% mechanic because
That's true. Especially with our new project.
Yeah. Big project.
You
It's
excited?
gonna be fun. It's gonna be a roller coaster, that's for sure.
I think by the time this podcast come out, it'll already be kind of announced on my Instagram stories and all that good stuff. But yesterday we brought home a Verde Ithaca 2006 Lamborghini Gallardo. It's the rarest color, and I'm pretty excited about it. It needs new clutch. It's got oil leaking into a cylinder somewhere. We got to fix that. We got to put new headliner on it. We got to dress some things on the front bumper, and then hopefully it works.
Yeah, we're going to powder coat the wheels and everything. I'm pretty confident that it should be pretty good to go after we get everything set up and then throw the clutch in. It should be a ripping machine.
Dart thinks he's just going to slap this Lamborghini together in like 2 days.
He's got to have some experience doing it. It's going to take
You've worked on
3
Lamborghinis,
days?
right?
Never once in my life have I ever
tractors at
touched
least.
it. I've worked on
mechanic.
You worked on
everything
else?
except supercars.
Well, no, you changed the tire on my C8.
Oh, true. Well, that ain't
bad.
working on
So
it.
that you need to pop the tire off. So that counts for something, right?
On the side of the road.
I feel like you're ready, dude. I feel like you're ready to pull the engine and transmission out of a Lamborghini and take them apart, put the clutch in, and
Drop the whole rear end. It's gonna be different. I don't think I've ever dropped a
rear engine.
rear engine before. Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Well, dude, I
Lambo.
just want to thank you because I wouldn't have been able to take advantage of this opportunity. I was looking for a running green Gallardo, right? I bought Pepe very early on and am basically using the Pepe funds to fund the Lamborghini, and I wanted to get a green one.
Yeah.
But they're all over 100 grand, easy for that color if you can even find one. There's only one for sale right now that's green. But my buddy up in Ogden happened to have one, and a bit of a project car, and a friend of mine. So I think we got it for a pretty decent deal. I paid $55,000 for it, and it's pretty much all there. It does have a rebuilt title. So
Cheapest Lambo on the market, want to mention.
cheapest Lambo on the market. I mean, it wasn't even on the market, but cheaper than any Lamborghini you could pretty much possibly find.
Yeah.
And hopefully it'll be worth, what do you think it'll be worth?
I want to say around 90. I'm probably 95, I'd say at least.
90, 95.
Just aim for double. Why not?
Aim for double, dude. And then what do you think? So by the time we do, you said clutch was,
Yeah, we have the clutch.
which is how much?
I'm going to drop the whole rear end, send it out, and then that's going to be about $2,800 for the clutch. And because it's going to be an OEM rebuilt clutch. And after that, we ended up buying a lift, a 2-post lift. That was what, $5,000, $4,000?
Okay. But I mean, that's kind of somewhat separate, right?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, so
not
that's
direct
kind
car
of
cost.
So just for the Lambo, you have the $2,800 for the clutch. You have the powder coating we're going to do. It's going to be around $2,000. And then you have, after that, it's pretty much just
Tires.
things that we want. And tires. Tires going to be
$2,500.
$2,500. And so we're only going to be in it, I would say probably
$8,000.
less than 10.
Dude, so I mean, it's looking like we're going to have a running, operating, all-wheel drive V10 for under 70K.
Yeah, it sounds like 65 right there. That's pretty good.
And then worth 90, 95 by the time we put the Pepe wrap on it. That thing's going to be a money-making machine.
Especially, it's going to be what, first Pepe Lambo?
First Pepe Lambo. It's
You
actually
gotta upgrade or up the value on that one as well.
100%, dude. It'll go viral. Dude, I think it's crazy. The whole Lamborghini situation is actually quite insane to me. First of all, I manifested this from years ago. If you go look at my Instagram, there's a post from 10 years ago, almost exactly, right? August will be 10 years. So we definitely have to have it done by August. It should be done by like in a month, but assuming something pops up, August, right? So 10 years ago, I was at Dream Racing in Vegas and I rented a green Gallardo. And originally when I did that, I was kind of an idiot and like social media wasn't what it was today, right? So I actually put the post originally, not now, I went back and edited it, originally put the post that it was my Lamborghini. I was like, guys, I bought this green Gallardo, like, what's up? You know, this completely lied, but I'm giving myself grace. I'm calling it manifestation because here we are 10 years later and I actually have the green Gallardo.
It's in the garage. You
in the
you
garage.
knew it was going to happen.
I was just, the reality had to catch up.
Yeah.
So
Even with that, you manifest a lot from the 8 months I've been here. You manifest just even the amount that we've grown since then and the potential you see in everyone that comes through Happi Roofing, such as me. Because I came from Oregon doing construction and didn't know really where I wanted to be in life. I didn't know really anyone other than just the close friends and family I got. And then got an opportunity that it was almost too hard to pass up. But then I prayed about it and talked to the Lord, and he told me to come here, meet up with my old best friend, your little brother. And so I did that, and I don't remember the old life that I was living. And so it's hard going home to see friends and family because everything's so different down here, and it almost life changing. Yeah. And so, I mean, I'm going to go home in a week or two to see family. That's going to be really good, but I'm always excited to come back here and keep the grind going because I hate leaving here and hate leaving the opportunity of growing more.
bro, we've helped level each other up. You know, I would not be able to have the Lamborghini if it wasn't for you. I would never have taken on a project like that. You know, and everything that you do at Happi Roofing, bro, like you brought us 40 deals before you switched over to foreman?
I think I'm at 49.
49?
I'm one away from 50.
Push some volume and then freaking help get them all built. Like, bro, you're super clutch human. You keep my pit bikes ready for the track. You got the CB almost done.
The CB needs a little bit more things than I thought.
That CB's been a shit show, dude.
Even with that, I'm still going to set leads on Saturdays or on days that I'm not working after I get off work.
After the Lambo.
Yeah, after Lambo. Lambo's right there. But I got to do that. But I don't know. I've always wanted to work on Lambos and stuff like that. That's what my brother's dream was why own a supercar when you can just work on them and test drive them. So there's no point of owning them when you can just drive whatever one you want.
Exactly, dude.
You fix them.
You're going to be getting paid to handle this thing every day, and then I got to pay you to freaking help me break in the clutch and make sure it all works. And then, you know, if I ever need to service it at Lamborghini Salt Lake, shout out to them, you know, and I don't have time to drive it over there. Unfortunately, I'm going to have you drive it over there for me.
Unfortunately.
So it's going to be it's a tough life, dude. It's definitely a tough life for you. But I'm glad that you're out here, dude. I'm glad that you're a part of this. I'm glad that you trust in me to, you know, help guide you through this journey of life. And dude, it's been wild since you've been coming out here. And now that we have the car lift, bro, like, this is gonna get crazy. Like,
cars for sale.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna have some crazy stuff, and we're actually planning on putting in a whole new shop on the property, and it's gonna be like 5 times bigger than the one we're working with now, which you can fit. It's a 30 by 60 shop. What we have now, you can fit like 6 cars in there.
We have 8 dirt bikes.
8 dirt bikes. So right now we have 4 cars in there, plus roofing material, plus dirt bikes, plus a lot of dogs around our property, and we all have guns. So keep that in mind.
What's the upgrade going on? Okay, what are we doing?
The upgrade's going to be big. It's going to be anywhere. I have to figure out how much money I can afford, but I'm going to start that project in November at the tail end of our roofing season. Okay. The goal is like 80 feet wide and then like 140 feet deep.
Oh shit. All right.
And then
like small,
like 3 stories.
It's kind of a small shop.
I'm going to have some office space for Happi Roofing. I'm going to put a master suite over there, and I'm actually going to move over there. We might even move this podcast studio over into there.
That'd be sweet. Cars all around us, rocking it in there.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Right on the floor.
Yeah.
Bro, we could freaking set this podcast up in the garage right now. Like,
It's not a bad idea.
we ought to
honestly.
shoot
It'd
some
be fun.
stuff in front of the Lambo. What are we doing with all these pictures and stuff, dude?
Great stuff, and we can bring it to the garage, you know?
Yeah,
we have a wall
exactly.
of this shit.
100%, dude. I just now thought of that. Holy shit. We got to film out there.
It'd be great.
But yeah, no, the shop will be a huge addition. We'll get some more lifts in there, open up the capacity, probably throw a handful of guys underneath Dart in the mechanic shop. And I feel like that's what you really like to do is the mechanical stuff.
It's fun.
Is that like,
Takes a lot of patience, that's for sure. There's a lot of, like we were talking to Jeremy Manning, he owns Top Coat over in, what was it, Ogden?
Ogden, yeah.
Ogden. But even like he said, you can work on so many different things and get so frustrated, and next thing you know it, I mean, like I was telling all the other guys, getting mad at a car doesn't do anything for you. It's all just an object that you just got to keep a level mind. And that's why I'm so good at it, is that I'm not going to sit there and throw wrenches like people I do know, or cut up roofs or anything like that. But it's all mental. Everything that we do is mental. Same with sales and everything such on that aspect, and being a PM, it's all mental. And if you can handle that, you can pretty much handle anything that gets thrown at you.
I agree.
I love that.
Yeah.
Level head.
I mean, I got taught that from the man, the myth, the legend, Dallas.
Still something I'm working on myself, but
Always room to improve.
always room to improve, bro. I like your mentality, Dart. You got a good head on your shoulders, man. But earlier when we were talking, you said you prayed about coming out here, right? What is your relationship with the Lord, and how long have you been a religious or spiritual human?
So I've been pretty much Christian about my entire life. And so I ended up, my best friend Jackson, I ended up going to just a volleyball activity in Pendleton, Oregon. That's where I'm from. That's where I was born. I went to an activity with one of my best friends. I have a tattoo right here matching with him. But I ended up going to an activity of just volleyball. And then I ended up meeting a girl, as you know. Girls are a blessing and a curse in the making. But I met a girl and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to these activities and get closer with her. Not even thinking about the Lord or like thinking that this could be an opportunity. But looking back at it was a long-term event that the Lord was slowly dragging me into his hand to become a Latter-day Saint, which I am now. I got baptized 2 years ago after going to a concert over in Rexburg, Idaho with the same friend after not seeing him for like 4 years. And then I just got a calling from the Lord that it's my time to get baptized by the two guys that are back home, the two missionaries, Elder Jensen and Elder Rollins. And if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I would even be out here right now, because if I got so close with the Lord, and I mean, I pray probably a couple times, if not a big amount every day. I pray morning and night, even middays, just blessing my food that the Lord gives me. And I pray about, the people around me, such as Dallas, because he recently refound the Lord. And like I was telling everyone else, I was super excited when that happens, because you have such a big influence on everyone else around you that the only one that you can possibly need in life is the Lord. And so pray about that. Pray for the guidance that you get just to become bigger and better, because there's always room to improve spiritually. You can have all the money in the world and not have the Lord next to you and still be missing something.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I would say that I always had a relationship, other than a couple years when I was like 18, 19, I kind of got really far, really distant. But for the most of my life, I would say that I always had some relationship, but I'd never fully submitted. And we kind of talk about this. But like, I never fully like gave my life, you know what I mean? I never like fully laid down and was like, you've got me fully, instead of it just being like, a buddy. It's like the Lord, the Lord of my life. That's how I like to put it.
It's always, just like, what was it, a month ago when I ended up just messing around with all the guys at 2:00 in the morning. I popped my tire, slid down this massive hill, and we were falling all over the place, but I ended up losing my wallet. Went up there the next day because it started snowing. Everything was white. And next thing you know, I hear some noise behind me while I'm climbing up this pretty steep hill. It's probably almost, almost straight up and down. And I look around, didn't see anything. No one was there. And then I turned back and my wallet's sitting right there covered in snow. And it was definitely the Lord. He's been watching over me ever since I got here and makes me who I am now.
Dude, I think that's very, very true to how he works. Similar experience. I was actually snowboarding and left my chest pocket unzipped, and I'd taken a little tumble in some pretty deep snow, and my phone fell out, and I got to the bottom of the chairlift there and checked my pocket to change my music, which had cut out. So I was like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Sure enough, it was gone.
Oh, wow.
And this is probably 45 degrees or steeper.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd been snowing all day, super deep. And I was riding with my buddy, who's actually at the time was future missionary. He served an LDS mission and honestly great human, but he was out there and he's like, hey dog, I'll pray for it real fast and then we'll go find it. And he said a prayer and he's like, just kind of quick little prayer with me. It said, hey, let's help us find it, and just gave grace to God and said thank you for a lot of stuff while we were at it. And we got out there looking, and first swipe in the snow, I was like, I think it's about here, and bat my hand across the snow, wiped it off, and sure enough, my phone's sitting right there.
Yeah,
and it was
crazy.
I mean, small miracles in a sense, but I mean, it was a blessing. It's right there, sitting there.
Even with that, you can pray about, asking the Lord for guidance to walk a perfect path. But what a lot of people do is they fail to show the appreciation to the Lord when they have such good things around them. And they only ask for the Lord when they're hurting or when something's going on in their life that they think that he's going to fix just over time, which they don't actually fully appreciate the Lord. They just want him to fix their problems, him to fix their problems.
And then they're surprised when, if that's the only time when you're going to talk to God, they're like, don't be surprised when he keeps you on your knees,
Yeah.
If you're not grateful at the top and the only time you talk to him is when life is tough. I mean, he wants to talk to you. So he's going to give you some more battles and try and get you to open back up. And just to kind of add on parlay on top of your guys' stories, I recently also had a pretty wild experience when I was in Japan, also in the snow. I was hitting these jumps on my snowboard and everything was just working beautifully. Like every trick I threw, just smooth as butter. First go. Like the snow was perfect. This day we were near the bottom end of the mountain. There was probably like a good 5, 6 inches, 7 inches of snow with powder on these jumps. And not a lot of people were hitting them. So the landing was still relatively soft. They were park jumps, so they're normal jumps, but landing was definitely softer than what you normally get on some park jumps. Right. Yeah. And everything's working perfect. And I'm like, man, this might be the day for me to send a double backflip. And I'm like super nervous, double rotation, first double rotation on a snowboard. The only thing I've double rotated is cliff jumping into water. And that's it. I've done a rope swing and I did a cliff jump. So both times into water, right? Never done it onto like a firm surface. Never dubbed anything besides rope swing and cliff jump. Haven't even done, I kind of did a double front flip on a trampoline, but like landing on my back, so it doesn't really count. But not too killer with the dub rotations.
Let's get you
yeah. So I'm going up and I start saying a prayer and I'm like, asking if this is something that I should go for and like asking for guidance, asking if I'm ready, asking, and I get near the top and I'm like, give me a sign if I should not do this. Right. And I drop in on the run and like a minute later, I just get taken out by another snowboarder. Just came out of nowhere. I've been riding, probably an average of 45 days for 5 years, never been hit by anyone. A minute after I ask for a sign whether I should go for this dub, I get hit. And regrettably, so I get hit. Maddie comes up and she's like, that was really weird. And like almost kind of implying that it was a sign without coming out and saying it. And we talked about it later and she was like, yeah, I thought that was a sign that you shouldn't do it, but I didn't want to discourage you from going for it if you wanted to go for it. And I honestly talked my way out of that being a sign. And I was like, I don't know how I talked myself out of that being a sign. I just really wanted to go for the flip. And I just honestly thought I had it. Like, I really thought I had it. I was like, this is going to be easy. Like, I'm going to go around twice. I'm going to cruise out of this, you know? So I'm like, all right, God, I'm going to go for it. But like, you know, all the glory goes to you. Like, I'm going to land this dub and then I'm going to give you the credit. Like, you know? And so I drop in, I'm going, everything's perfect. Feel like I have the right amount of speed. Everything's great. First rotation's perfect. Hold the tuck into the second rotation, come around, completely lose kind of where I'm at. I feel it out. I get my feet down first, but I slightly turned. It was like I gave up on the landing and didn't expect to fully land it. And I just thought like the snow was going to be soft. And I was like, oh, I'll just take it to my back or whatever. I guess that's what was going through my head. Catch my back edge on landing at like a 45-degree angle. Like it just wham, and just stops my snowboard and just whaps me right on my head. And blew my goggles, like blew the lenses out of my goggles. I'm bleeding from both nostrils. Hardest I've ever hit my head snowboarding. Potentially hardest I've ever hit my head ever. It was such a brutal impact. Like there's just like a 45, 50 foot jump straight to a like stop snowboard, straight to the freaking back of the head. I remember cruising down and just being like, I was so pissed that I didn't listen to the sign, but I was also like so grateful for the experience because I was like, this is like kind of the reminder I needed. Like I needed to be humbled. I'm still kind of like new on this journey of like full submission. And this was a mistake that I made since I had made that decision of not listening to a sign and putting my own desires first and not, you know, following what felt like God's plan for me. But I was so grateful to have learned that lesson, even though, you know, I do think I got a slight concussion. Like my head still kind of hurts now. It's been like a week and a half of like little headache, but I'm so grateful that I learned that lesson where I could still ride down. I'm still fine. I was still able to snowboard a bit the rest of the day and finish the trip versus learn that lesson on something like a skydive or a base jump or something that could change my life or potentially even end it. So I'm just grateful for that experience and figured I'd share it. It's kind of embarrassing because, you know, I have made that commitment fairly recently and then made a mistake like that, but figured if that can bring value to someone, then it's worth sharing.
We're all always growing and learning from stuff like that. And it's powerful that you can learn from a moment where it wasn't so consequential that it was bad. And I think I think the Lord works in that way a lot. He gives you the opportunity to learn from it. And if you continue to not learn, that's when it starts to kind of become a problem. But you took that experience and you learned from it. I mean, it sounds like you recognized it pretty quickly that you're like, oh, I definitely wasn't listening. And so kind of is a reminder for you to get back in touch with it and really look for those signs again and allow you to grow and learn from it. So it's pretty powerful and cool.
Always hurt your ego to show your appreciation for the Lord. Because whether your ego is super high and you just want to be the coolest guy around and do some crazy stuff and you get a calling not to, it's always better for you to do that because you're always going to be able to have room to grow. It's just not your time to be able to do certain things. And a lot of people forget that. A lot of people don't even assess what they're going to do and they just completely ignore the Lord. Like I was saying earlier, is they only want the Lord when they are down in a hole. But you got to open up and be thankful for everything. No matter if it's good or bad, there's a reason why the Lord put you on that path. What's going through your head?
I just didn't want to say anything because I feel like I just ranted for so long and I'm like, all right, I'm just going to like not say anything and see what happens if I just say nothing. But dude, to what you said, like you're 100% right. Like Ego was a huge part of that. Like, I thought I freaking had it, and I was like, I got this. I'm just going to send it, and everything's going to work out great. And I could have been like, maybe I could get hurt. Maybe I could smash my head. And it was funny because like a week-ish later, so like just a couple days ago, Maddie sent me a video of a dude going for a double, and the conditions looked pretty similar, and the jump looked honestly smaller, and dude like got taken down by ski patrol on a stretcher. Like, I think it was like a collarbone or something that came in on his, under rotated to his face, and like got messed up. And you know, I did not think that would happen. Like, I often say that I'm delusionally optimistic, and I think that's why business has worked out, because that's why I do things like buy a broken Lamborghini, because I'm like, Dart's going to fix that in like a week. Like, you know, and I just think everything's always going to work out. Like, that's just my mentality. And sometimes I need to take a step back and say, well, like, what if it doesn't? And like, especially if I'm given a sign like that, like either way, it's such a blessing, but it would have been great to just send another 360 and get a video of that. Cause would have felt a lot nicer to ride away from that, or just do a single flip. I could have done the biggest single flip. Like, I didn't even actually single flip that jump. So that would have been the biggest single flip, and either one of those options would have been great, but I got greedy. I pushed it, put my own desires ahead of what God wanted me to do, and suffered the consequence. Either way, I'm grateful for it though, because like I said, it's a lesson learned, and I can apply that in my life and make those corrections.
Did I ever tell you about when I got humbled pretty well?
Let's hear it.
That's when I first bought my YZ 450. I was just goofing off at this dirt bike track, and all my friends and family were there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm feeling good. I'm hitting these other triples, and right by the finish line, I tried hitting this triple, and I was wearing brand new boots at the time, and I hit the first one. It felt so good, and I somehow couldn't shift properly with those boots, but I finally got into third gear, and I completely twisted it. And next thing you know, I completely jump it by 25 feet. I twisted it straight off the bottom of the jump. So I'm pinned third gear hitting
Going
this.
off the face of this.
Yeah. And next thing you know, I completely over jump by 25 feet. I fly completely over the handlebars, land another 10, 15 feet after that. My bike keeps going without me. And then 2-3 minutes later, I wake up to a crowd of people above me, and then realize that I ended up getting a concussion that time. I crunched my lumbar spine. The doctor was surprised that I didn't break part of my spine. And then I cracked my back of my helmet. I had probably a good 4 or 5 inch crack in the back because I just smacked my head so hard, and there should have been probably more damage than there was, but I just wanted to be the cool kid and hit this really big triple, but got humbled, and I had to put my bike and stuff away and couldn't ride it. Couldn't even barely walk and so after that, I ended up going to work about 2 weeks later because I could barely get out of bed. I could barely walk around and do anything. I couldn't bend over to save my life. But that's when I realized that, putting your ego aside is something that is okay. And it's not, you don't got to be the cool kid all the time. Like, that was a bad awakening because my older brother, Trenton, ended up hitting the same jump, and he ended up fracturing his shoulder and blew that out. And so I shouldn't even hit it because it was already bad blood in the system.
You wanted to conquer it for your brother.
I want to do something, but
get the revenge on that jump. Man, you showed that jump, didn't you?
I showed it real good how hard I hit the floor.
How big of a jump was it?
So the triples, they were probably good 20, 30 feet each triple. So it's a pretty
60,
decent jump.
60,
yeah.
70?
Yeah, it's pretty big. And so it was the biggest jump on the track. Yeah. That's for sure.
You did it on your 450?
Yeah.
The one you have now?
Yeah, the YZ.
Did you have to fix
YZ.
it?
No, my 450
Bulletproof?
Yeah,
Took it
it
like a
was-
champ.
Stronger than you, I guess.
Didn't even know that it went through that. Yeah,
What'd you do with the helmet that got cracked?
still use it. I need to get a new one.
Dude,
but
we need to hang that up right over here.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe we'll get you a new helmet.
I've been telling myself to get one because protecting my head something crazy. Well, we even had Tony that was here, 5-6 months ago. That
I don't
ended
know
up.
if we should speak his name. I'm just kidding.
Well, we ended up having Tony, and he didn't wear a helmet when he went riding, and he was on a little 110 and
Wrecked himself,
completely-
dude. And
Yeah,
the rule was always wear a helmet. And I had a conversation with him right before that about longevity and like you're doing important shit. So you have to like be careful with yourself. People are relying on you. You've got a lot of momentum in life. You need to dial down your risk a little bit here, which might sound crazy for me, but I mean, I dialed down my risk big time the more I got into business. But that was kind of the conversation I was having with him. It was like, always wear your gear, always wear your helmet, be safe. Like you're doing really important stuff. And then it was like 2 days later, a week later, that he's in the hospital and he's like forgetting everything. His head's cut open. He can't keep track of anything. When you hit your head, not only does it mess with your memory, it messes with your emotions. I was so pissed, like for a while, very agitated for days after hitting my head. And it was really hard on Maddie, to be honest with you, but like it's hard on the people around you when you hit your head, like, and you don't have the patience for anything. Cause it's just like, you're so short circuited. And that's why if you look at like, you know, people who suffer from CTE, like head injuries, dude, the suicide rate is insanely high. Like people's mental health, it's no joke. Like that stuff lasts a really long time. There's a BMX rider, Dave Mira, who ended up taking his own life. And a lot of people speculate that, you know, his mental health suffered big time because of how many concussions he had. And he would smash his head and get back up and keep riding and smash his head. And, you know, so it's like, if you're not taking your head health seriously, you need to reevaluate, because that stuff can haunt you for the rest of your life. Like I'm lucky that I've really only hit my head hard a couple of times. I think that snowboard crash I just had recently was the hardest time. And like now that I'm getting a little older, I'm 28 now. It's like, I'll never do anything without a freaking helmet. I mean, sometimes I'll jump on the 110, but I shouldn't even be doing that, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, looking at, I mean, like when we snowboard, even you have a helmet on. It's not an option. It's a no brainer. It's a small risk that it's an easy protection device that's just so easy for you to put on. Why would you not put it on? Yeah. And on top of that, like even just like you said you've dialed back your risk, but I think you still are ballsy. You still go do all those big things, it seems like, but you've just taken the risk factor, and wherever you can minimize it, you do. Like even on the chairlift, and I suffer from it, but I'm like, oh, it's not cool to put the chairlift down, the protector guard. Ever since I've started riding with you, the one thing is we always put it down.
Always.
You always put it down. And it's something that's like, growing up, I'm like, oh, it's cool not to. All the cool kids don't have it. But when you really think about it, I'm like, you're 40, 50 feet up. If you fall from here, you're in the world of hurt. There's no point in not putting that down and protecting yourself. It's there for a reason. Use the safety devices when you can. Like put the helmet on, put the protectors on. There's no harm in having extra protection. And it's not like you look like an idiot. You look just as good with a protector, almost smarter, because you know you're doing something better for yourself and for those around you.
I think the more gear you wear and the more protective stuff, it looks like you go harder, you know, and I think it's cool. And as far as the bar, like all it takes is one of those giant trees to fall and hit the cable. And if you ever gone like that with a hose or something and the ripple runs super long, a tree hits the cable, it ripples and it will bounce off the track. And if that chair swings even a little bit, it's dumping you off the front. If you get dumped off the front of a chair, you are going to break your back. There's Ski Patrol died at Park City a couple years ago. And that's when I started using the bar. It was one of my homies, like pretty close friends. And I was riding with him and he was just like, no, we're using the bar. Like my buddy just lost his life last week. Yeah. He was Ski Patrol. He was super experienced. He had all of his gear. He was on, Park City. He's on like a nice lift and it's a tree that fell. There's nothing you can do about that. It whips the cable, dumps you out, takes half a second to bring it down to potentially save your life, that's an easy no-brainer. That's a no-brainer.
It doesn't even need to be like a crazy tree that falls or anything. Even the wind up at the resorts, a gust of wind can pick that chair up and drop it.
100%.
I've been up at Brighton before, and we were riding actually with my buddy opening weekend a couple of years ago. I think it was the same year homie died up at Park City, but we're sitting on the chair and we did have the bar down. There were some skiers next to us and they had the footrest. So they were pretty adamant that it came down, and we put it down, and we actually had some pretty heavy winds and they actually stopped the chairlift after this run, but we got air. I mean, I was probably a foot off the chair and I literally just panicked, grabbed anywhere, and there's not a lot of places to grab, but fortunately that bar was down in front of us. But I mean, I came into it, fell into the bar, and like without it, it would have been real trouble. We weren't in a safe place to fall by any means. And
No, dude, that's super gnarly.
It's crazy not to put the devices in place that are already there for you.
In Japan, they close automatically. So you got to like put your head back, because my buddy Makai, he's like sitting up like this. And all of a sudden, I mean, it's made for Japanese people. So it's like, you know, like whack you in the head. You're like, oh shit. And so then every time, even when we get on the lift that doesn't have an automatic one, we'd get on. As soon as I get picked up, I'd see him out of the corner of my eye. He'd be like, he'd like duck down and get under it. I'm like, no, dude, we're good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, safety devices, man, it's definitely not worth your life. Not at all.
It's not.
Easy thing to do.
Even when I'm on a ski lift, I mean, it's not often too crazy. I always prepare of how I'm going to get down. You guys ever watch that movie? What is it called? Lift?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what it's called.
I haven't seen that one.
It's where the skiers, they go on one last run and they shut down the lift and they're stuck up there, and two of them jump off, like break their backs and stuff like that, get eaten by wolves. Only one made it out, but I always find an exit plan to get off a lift no matter what.
Yeah, I feel like you could just dump your gear, your board or your skis, and then just climb up, get on the cable,
shimmy along the line,
and then shimmy down the line to the next post.
Open if you're halfway through though.
You're halfway through.
You're halfway through each lift.
You're between the posts.
Yeah.
You just go down the line. Get up on the cable and
it's
just
pretty long.
Lock your legs.
Oh yeah, it's not easy.
And then just freaking shimmy down the line.
True.
That's why you got to stay fit.
I mean, stay fit. That's what Mo says. I mean, you get it's Stay Ready is the name of this new company. It's Stay Ready, and it's like my coach. He's training me for a half Ironman here and then another Ironman here in November. But his like business model is Stay Ready Fitness. Like it's being prepared for anything, and like he's a model of that. Basically, he's always able to do things. He can.
Yeah.
I mean, it might suck to get through some of the stuff, but he keeps his body in a fitness level that he can go run a marathon any day. He can go compete in an Ironman, and he's at a fitness capacity and maintains it that he is capable of in case things go wrong, he's ready. Yeah. And he really embodies that. And it really is a great concept behind it, though, is keeping yourself ready, staying in shape and staying
100%
prepared for possibilities. Like it's why I keep a shovel in my car. If my truck gets stuck, I have a shovel under the back seat just in case.
Yeah.
There's no harm in having it.
Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. That's the saying I always go by.
Because by the time anything happens, you ain't got time to get ready.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's happening. It's go time. If you're overweight and out of shape and you're trying to shimmy down a freaking cable 50 feet up.
Bad news.
And you get a little tired. Sorry, dude.
I always thought about like the snowboard bindings. Strap them to the lift and like slowly like anchor it down. Use like my clothing. Tie it to the thing and slowly like make a ladder out of it. It's always what I'm thinking too, based on.
I think I'm shimmying down. I'm keeping all my gear on and I'm shimmying down the cable.
I'll drop the snowboard and climb the cable. So that's where I'm at. Or if there's a tree close enough, jump to the tree. I feel more confident in that.
Yeah. Maybe I'll start wearing a belt and bring in a carabiner.
There you go.
Because then you could just loosen your belt, carabiner to the cable, cable to your belt. And
it's a good idea.
I'm a fucking genius.
That's a good idea.
A carabiner would not be a bad idea. Like it's never a bad idea to have a carabiner.
I used to have one on my snowboard gear all the time. I had to use it to keep my pants up, but probably ought to keep it with the fit now. Add it back.
For real. That'd actually be pretty dope if snowboard company made like your front two belt loops just super solid, and then your belt like some reinforcement Kevlar stitching through your belt, so that if anything ever happened, all you need is a carabiner. You don't even need the belt.
Yeah.
And you just boom, clip your carabiner to your two front loops right there. Zzz.
That'd be cool.
Be smart, you know.
Maybe we should start a pant company.
Maybe.
Maybe. We probably got our hands full between the roofing company, podcast,
New
Lambo,
building. And the new building.
and the new building. There's got to be like 5 other things, but I don't know.
There's probably like 20 other things.
Now we have 2 cats with kittens. That's,
How are we up to? Like 11? 13?
dude,
Is it really that many?
scary.
It's a lot.
There's like 40 animals on this farm
I love that.
somehow.
40. So you got
15 chickens,
okay. That adds for a lot.
7 ducks, right?
You have ducks. I can see.
Yeah, we have ducks
Yeah,
out
we
in the
have-
pond.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
2 goats,
Yep.
A sheep,
a sheep,
3 dogs,
3 dogs.
14 or 13 cats.
Now
already
only
over
needs, now only
30.
needs horses.
And a little brother. Yeah, I do need horses, bro. I want to have a mini horse out here.
It'd be so fun.
Happy Farms.
Happy Farms.
I love it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Once we get the barn dominium built, I'm going to put some horse stables on it and get some horses out here.
Horses, get you a longhorn or something. Highland cow.
Oh, dude, that'd be
Big
so
old
that'd be
horns.
next level.
So fun.
That'd be next level. I was also thinking about a buffalo, like a bison,
Yes.
but they need like a herd and they need space. It's a little too small to have.
Yeah.
You need to have at least 2 of those. They need to have like a buddy.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. The next farm is going to be bigger. This is just our starter farm. This is where we figure out how to grow plants, how to take care of animals. And then the next farm is going to be a legit compound.
It's learning phases right now.
This is just the starter compound.
Of course.
Once we get this fully built out, I'm probably going to have my master bedroom over in the shop over here. These guys can have this house, maybe bring in a couple other guys, get some of the rooms rented up. And then we're going to start building giant compound, couple 100 acres or something like that.
That's the way to do it. Maybe get a mountain in there while you're at it, right?
Oh,
On
yeah.
top.
Oh yeah. We're going to have a ski run for sure. We'll have at minimum a tow rope. Dude, I was actually thinking when I put the building in here
Yeah.
on the southern or on the northern side, putting a gentle slope in and then just getting a snow cannon, just making my own snow right there, putting in like a rail, a jump
It's right off the roof.
right off the roof. So
You could do that. They make
tow rope get you up there.
it's basically turf, but they use it for like the Olympic ski jumping and stuff.
Yeah,
You could get some of that stuff and you could run it year round too.
exactly. Let's do
Fun
that.
time.
That would be
Wow.
so sick, dude. Have a freaking little ski resort here in Tooele, in
So
Erda.
dope. Little
That'd be
backyard,
so fun, dude.
backyard setup. Tow rope
Yeah.
it, maybe ladder to the top so you can upper deck or maybe platform so you can really get some momentum in there.
Yeah. And then in the summer too, it could just be, the jump could just be like used for mountain bikes and all sorts of stuff.
I should run some water on it, make a slip and slide.
We are going to make a big old pond. There's going to be a big pond so you can jump off the top of the building into the water.
As we need.
It's going to be fun. I think I want to have a section of the pond indoor even,
Really?
like a greenhouse on the back
Okay.
end where half the pond is inside the greenhouse.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm going to afford all this. This is just
This is the vision.
this is just the vision, right?
This is the manifestation
This is
stage.
just a manifestation stage. And yeah, so like have an indoor section of the pond so we can go out there in the middle of winter and like, you know, have some sunlight coming in through the windows and stuff. It should warm up a little bit in
A
there.
little inside fishing as well, maybe.
Inside fishing. Yeah, we're going to do like catfish, bass, and sunfish mix.
There you go.
So it's like a little ecosystem. We'll have like, you know, a couple hundred fish in there total and
Go.
have like, you know, 6 months worth of food if we ever need to.
So great.
So that's how crazy his manifesting stage is. Because I didn't even know about this. I know about quite a bit, but I didn't know about the indoor pond at all.
Indoor pond. You gotta have an indoor pond, dude. There's no point in building a barn dominium without an indoor pond. That's just silly.
Going, what, 80 by 140, you said? It's plenty of space for
Yeah.
an indoor pond.
Yeah, the back like 60 is gonna be a greenhouse.
I love that.
So it'll be like 80 by 80 is the shop space with the double decker as the my bedroom and stuff like that. Have like a little conference room, and then I can't decide if we want to do a basement to make it 3-story or if we want to go 3-story up, because then that makes the ski stuff more fun. I don't know. Let us know what you think, guys. And if you need any roofing, please hit up Happi Roofing. If you're looking for a job, hit up Happi Roofing as well. we are going to need to hire some people and build some roofs to get this shop built. And the good news is, if you come work for us, you get a free lift ticket for the Dartanian micro lift. So pretty good deal. And you can hear firsthand, a pretty good company to work for, right?
Really good. I've worked for quite a bit of different companies, and Happi Roofing's by far one of the best ones.
Let's go. Let's go. You heard it. You heard it from him. It doesn't mean as much when I say it, but you know, I try and pride myself on offering an opportunity unlike anything else. You know, I try and bring the full package. It's not just come work and make money. It's like, come work, make money. I get to know you. I figure out what your skill sets are. I figure out what your dreams are. I find where it can align, where we can work together. Like for Dart, he likes doing mechanical stuff. He likes supercars. Cool. I like supercars. I want to get a supercar for the best possible price. How about I buy a broken supercar and you fix it, and we work together and we help each other accomplish each other's dreams. That's how I like to work. And, you know, it's not just come out, work, boring. No, it's come out, learn how to make money, get the skill set of sales. Because if you do have sales skills, like I can tell you right now, Dart's way better at being a foreman because he had that sales experience. That's typically where we want to start people, is get people really comfortable talking, get people comfortable like pitching a product, get people comfortable with rejection. That skill set just sets you up quality for life. And then from there, we pivot, find out maybe a career is really good at sales. And maybe you can go from sales, project management, team building, recruiting, training. There's a lot of money to be made down that avenue. Maybe you get into sales and you like being more hands-on, put you over building stuff, managing teams, stuff like that. A lot of money to be made there. You know, if there's mechanical stuff, I mean, I got one guy working for me and I'm pretty sure he's out in the garden right now. Right? Is that what Zach's doing?
Yeah.
So Zach, he comes out and I'm like, what do you like doing? And he's like, I like gardening. And he's got like this big box of seeds and, you know, comes and moves in and he's got like 3 gardening books and brings his own seeds. I'm like, perfect, bro. We got a garden right here. Let's go. Hop in the garden and there you go. There's your job. And so it's like when he doesn't have stuff to do for Happi Roofing, errands to run and stuff like that, you know, it's like, all right, well, where are we going to put you? Well, let's put you in what you want to do and start that transition and try and give you as much as you can that's something you actually enjoy, that makes sense, that's in alignment with what the team needs, what the company needs, what I need. And, you know, if it makes sense for everyone, why not do it?
True. But even
Exactly what I do with you.
Right? No, you're not wrong at all. And I kind of want to just give you a little props here with that. I mean, Happi Roofing is your roofing company, but you've kind of made it a lifestyle for everybody. And I'm kind of seeing that the more we talk about it and the more I hear about it. It's not just, I mean, it is a company. Yes, it sounds like they're doing great, but everyone that I've talked to or I've heard over the phone or whatever that works here or works for you, I should say, it's become a lifestyle for them and they seem to all really love it. And it does sound like you put people where they are best and you give them opportunities to really do what they want to do. So
Thank you, bro.
it's powerful. It's cool.
I appreciate it. You guys don't need to toot my horn too much, but it does feel nice.
just after this podcast is over, just forget about all of it.
Yeah, I was just paying him to say this, guys, like, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, we're making all of this up.
Yeah, everyone's just full of crap. This is all just BS.
When I go back home and I talk to my family about just the crazy stuff we do here, they tell me that they're going to cry because they're so upset at the fact that I'm doing all this dope stuff all the time and living such a crazy life that they can't hear the whole story. And so I got to almost hold back the stories I tell them half the time.
Dude, I know what that's like, bro, to be completely honest with you. Like, I owe it all to the big man. I'm so incredibly blessed, and there's definitely been a lot of times in my life where I didn't want to talk about what's actually going on. I don't want to actually talk about certain stuff. There's like really only, you know, like I'd say I'm pretty open with both of you guys, but like, you know, and I'm trying to get more open with the general public of like, you know, everybody in my life and really letting everybody in on what's going on. But it's hard sometimes, dude. You don't want to like, you don't want to come off too braggy, but it's like, it's hard when like life is exceeding your own expectations and then you're just excited about it, right? Mm-hmm. That it's just like, you want to talk about it. And I'm realizing like, no, it is beneficial to talk about it. And it is beneficial to just be myself and, and share with what's going on, because it's helping inspire people. It's helping bring it to the front of people's minds. It's helping people realize what's possible. It's helping people realize, what can really happen in life. And I was just having a conversation with my uncle last night, sending pictures of the Lambo. And, I was talking with him and I was like, dude, like every time I hit a milestone like this, I think of my uncle, because my uncle is the one that really opened my eyes to what's possible in life. And he's going out, charging it with business, charging it with his construction company and hitting really high levels of success, buying all the supercars, buying the airplanes, has every gun, has every watch, gone to every place, like done all the things, goes to all the events, VIP at everything. Everyone loves him. He's the life of the party. He's hilarious. He's just like this whole package human. And, being able to have something like that in my life, like I hope you guys get to meet him one day. He's literally a phenomenal human being. Like,
We'll have to have him on.
Dude, absolutely. Yeah. He said he's down, and I think he's building like a, I don't know, fucking $1 billion project here in Utah sometime. I don't know what actual size it is. I know it's going to be enormous. He's working with Kennecott or something like that, building like a new concrete plant or something like that out here.
The copper mine out there, so that's got to be.
Yeah. So he should be in Utah and we can have him on, but I truly understand the value of having somebody that isn't afraid to show you what's really going on. And it's like, this is what's actually happening. It's like, I might as well talk about it, might as well show you so that I don't hide it, suppress it, make it small. Cause like, yeah, maybe make some people feel a little bit uncomfortable at the time. If you're like, I'm 28, I got 2 supercars, house, business. I got a lot going for me. I got stuff going on, or it might make it feel a little uncomfortable for a second, but it also, they go sit on it. They're like, shit, like Dallas used to be homeless. Dallas used to live out of a van, like I literally got kicked out of every single house and had nowhere to live at 16 years old. I didn't graduate high school. I started making money and went completely beyond dead broke in my early 20s and bounced back from it. And here we are at 28. So it's like, why not share that story? Why not give that to people? And, so what if it makes some people a little bit uncomfortable temporarily? If it can help resonate with certain people and give people hope and help them realize that they can accomplish literally anything and that your life can exceed your expectations, regardless of how big you dream, God has a plan that I promise you, if you give it your all and really try and go for it and disregard some of the limiting beliefs that you have, push past, your risk tolerance and expand yourself, you can live a lifestyle that's far beyond what you can even imagine for yourself. And, that's kind of what I'm realizing. And like you're living a pretty amazing life, I would say, and same with my brother. Like, you guys don't need to hold back. You need to freaking inspire the next generation. You need to show people what's true. If anything, you need to exaggerate it.
Yeah. Well, even I have a bunch of friends or like bunch of like little brothers that I was really good buddies with their brothers that, they're all like 17 years old and they all want to come out here. There's actually 2 of them.
Bring them out. Let's go. We got more bedrooms.
They went to the same high school. They're going there now. But Aiden and Andrew were just telling their teacher yesterday they're going to come work for me. They're going to come work underneath
Have them come
me.
work for you, dude.
And then he's like, who do you mean, Dartanian? Oh, that's going to be interesting. You ain't going to go far at all. And then they're just like completely smoking them out. Like, oh, you should see the stuff they drive. Start showing like all the stuff that we do, the Corvette and everything. And he's just silent. And so one of these times there will be a day that
you got to shut up the haters, bro.
I'll roll in with something that's really nice and I'll pick them up from school and just shut down that school just for the day.
Well, I'm trying to get this Lambo done for my 10-year reunion. Apparently I told Corey Adams in like middle school that I was going to show up in our 10-year reunion in a Lamborghini. And he told me that a few months ago. And that's when I really was like, I should probably try and find a Lambo. And that's really when I started seriously searching. And I didn't really think it was actually going to happen. I was just like, nah, like it's just, I don't see it happening. This is reunions in a few months, but dude, we get the car done. we bring it up there. June, they'll be out of school, huh? No one goes to school in June. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll just go to that teacher's house. How about that? Load up those kids in the Lambo, put a roof rack on it, and have everyone sitting on the roof. I can drive up, spit some flames in her driveway. Let's go. More motivation to get the car.
Yeah, you're right. We have no money to hire anyone else, right? And we just put all the money towards this one car. We're not going anywhere at all.
No, we have no money. Well, that's actually kind of true, to be honest. I know you're saying that sarcastically, but we did spend probably too much, and we
have a lot of assets.
We do have a couple assets. We'll probably be fine. We could always borrow more money. Right? I don't have that much debt. Got the house, got the C8. That's about it. So there's probably someone out there that'll give me money, worst case. But we've made it this far. Pretty sure we'll be able to pay all of our bills. And yeah, if you've got a couple buddies that want to come out, we can figure some stuff out, scrap together some change or something and get them paid. Hopefully.
Hey, if they're bringing you more money anyway, right? They're going to be out there working.
That's the plan. Yeah, we throw them on the doors
for you.
Yeah, perfect. I like that. You believe in me, huh?
Oh, always. It helps you believe in yourself, you know?
We should be able to pay everyone. Yes, correct. Should.
Well, I might get a cut, but
Dart's probably getting a cut. Yeah. Well, they're working for you, so you're paying them. So.
Yeah, it means I got to give them all my money. That ain't fair.
Nah, we can use mine. That's fine. That's the only reason I have money is just to share it with everyone else. That's literally the reason why I like buying these cars and living this way is just because I'm like, everyone's going to be able to enjoy it, you know?
That's something I love about you. We actually had this conversation when we were snowboarding a little bit is you had asked me what I think about freedom. And it's like you asked me kind of like to really actually like think about and put more thought into it than just, like everyone wants freedom. Freedom's the coolest thing. But like my response to you was like, what's freedom if you're by yourself? You're just lonely. You're just depressed if you can't bring anyone with you. Like
100%.
The real freedom is being able to bring others up, bring them with you, and bring them along, and like share the opportunities and the greatness. Like that's one of the coolest things you can do is give someone else the opportunity.
100%, dude.
That's where you feel like that you are getting the freedom by doing what you're doing, but the only way to do it is to bring others with you.
Yeah, I mean there's been parts of the journey where, there was a good 2 years of Happi Roofing when I was a one-man show, and I didn't hardly get anything done. I kind of figured out some systems, but the growth was pretty slow, pretty stagnant, and it wasn't really that fulfilling, and it wasn't until I started taking the risk and, I hired my first full-time hourly employee, Maddie. And that was really when I had that major paradigm shift. And I was like, I realized I need to get people involved. And now that we've got the momentum that we've got the resources, we've got the systems, we've got experienced people who can help process the work that needs to be done. There's no stopping. I mean, I'm putting this in God's hands. I'm taking the most diabolical risks, and we're just going to freaking run it up. Anybody who wants to come on out. We'll find a place for you. You know what I mean? We've got rooms at the house. We've got places to park a freaking camper. Like, we'll figure it out. We got to get another house. We'll do it. Like, there's no stopping this now. The train has left the station, and I've fully realized that it really is all about the people and expanding the opportunity for other people. And that's what keeps me stoked. That's what's giving me fuel. And that's what motivates me to just keep doing crazier and crazier things and get crazier and crazier toys so that I can just share it with people and inspire and help make people's lives better. Because at the end of the day, that's making my life better because I genuinely enjoy doing those things. So, yeah.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. I'm pretty stoked, man. Life is crazy. It's a lot of blessings, and I swear they just keep coming in heavier and heavier ever since I've like fully submitted to God. Like, this Lamborghini fell into my lap. Like, I couldn't not get it, and everything is just so crazy. Like there's 3 different manifestations for this exact car, right? I told Corey that I was going to have a Lambo for the 10-year reunion. Check. I drove a green Gallardo 10 years ago and said it was mine. Check. I wanted to get a green Gallardo for the Pepe Lamborghini, right? Pepe branded Lamborghini. Not only is it a green Gallardo, but it has red wheels. And if you look at the Pepe logo on CoinMarketCap, it's a it's a green frog with red lips. If those are the 2 colors, there's literally triple manifestation in that car that I couldn't not get it. And the fact that it's the cheapest car and the cheapest Lamborghini that I could have got, and it's being sold by a friend of mine who's willing to like give me a solid deal on it. And I've got Dart here to help put it all together. I'm meant to have this car. I've already had conversations with people where the car's not even put together yet. I'm not even driving it. I haven't even posted it on my story. I've only told a couple people, and I can already tell how much legitimacy this brings and how much weight it adds to what I say. I literally had 2 conversations that were super meaningful that I honestly do not think would have happened if I didn't have this car. Like when I bought the C8, it's just different. You know, it's a Corvette. Like they're cool. Mm-hmm. And like they're fast, you know, they're rear engine, fast, badass car, looks super sick, but it's just different. The Lamborghini name is just a totally different status symbol. And like, yeah, I had a conversation with one of my buddies and he was like, I told him that I stopped smoking weed a month ago, like right after I had the conversation with God, and was like, I'm gonna give my life to you. And like, I want you to make this easy for me. And, you know, I want you to help me remove this from my life. I literally haven't even had the desire to smoke weed. It's crazy. And I tried smoking weed before and I made it like 3 weeks, and it was a struggle every single day. There was very, very few days where I wasn't dying to smoke weed before bed or, you know, in the morning. And, you know, so he asked me, he's like, dude, you think I should stop smoking weed? I was like, yeah, dude, I do. Like, I do think you should stop smoking weed. Like, my life has been better without it. I have more motivation, more clarity. I've figured out how to regulate my own emotions without it. I figured out how to cure boredom without it, right? Because that's really why I smoked weed, is I'd get bored and then want to smoke, right? And now when I get bored, I got to do other things. I got to clean. I got to work out. I got to, you know, strategize. I got to read. I got to journal. I fill that space with something that actually does something for me. I shared all that with him, and his response was, all right, bro, I'm going to listen to you. You bought a Lamborghini. I want to buy a Lamborghini. I'll listen to you. But literally, like, I don't think I would have had the same weight, you know, in what I said, but like something about having a Lamborghini, even though it's broken and extremely like cheap for what it is, I think like it's still a Lamborghini, and it's still like that token of success that people are like, damn, like that little badge in the video game, that little status symbol that's like, that guy knows how to play the game.
Well, it says you're doing something right.
Exactly. I was talking to my buddy Austin Langford, and like, you know, he wanted to call, and like I said, I haven't talked to him in a really long time, and he saw the Lambo and wants to talk on the phone. He's hard to kind of reach, you know, like he's kind of a reclusive person that, you know, I don't get as much time to talk to as I'd really like, but saw the car, and that definitely like sparked something to want to have that conversation, want to talk to me. And we got to talk about God, and it touched him, dude. I could tell he was like, dude, you, like the way you're living and like what you posted about is like really making me think, you know? And then like, we didn't talk about it too much on the phone. I kind of like expressed a lot of the stuff I like, you know, I shared, and was like, dude, it's been incredible. And after we got off the phone, I sent him another text, and I was like, dude, I just felt like I should double down on this and just like let you know that this has been like best decision I ever made. And like, I encourage you to experiment with it. That's kind of what I like to say to people. I encourage you to experiment with it, because anyone can like experiment, You know, like that's not.
Yeah, it's not a full commitment either, which makes it easier to get the buy-in from people.
Yeah.
Just give it a shot.
Yeah, just like have fun with it. Like it's just like anything else. Like life is here to kind of like bump into the walls and figure out what works for you and just have an experiment, you know? And then he sent me back a really good text and he was like, dude, I was talking to my wife about God and like, you know, it's just like so crazy that like I haven't even announced it yet. Only a handful of people know. And like it's already helping me like push a message and promote something that's super meaningful to me. That it just, yeah, I am a little scared that like I did drop a good amount of cash on this car. Like I've never, other than this house, that's the most cash I've ever dropped at once.
Yeah.
On an object besides, you know, labor, materials, stuff like that for the business. But like on something that I'm purchasing, this is the most amount of cash and it's broken and it doesn't run, you know? So it's like,
still so excited.
And I'm still so excited about it. So it's like, it alleviates a lot of the stress of, you know, having something like that isn't working yet. Just being able to have those types of conversations so early on in the process. I can't even imagine what's going to happen once it's running. I can drive it around. People come up to me and, you know, being able to talk about it and like share that message is going to be a very impactful tool. I can already tell.
Lambo's a big name. Big name.
Oh, dude. Well, Dart, you want to wrap us up here?
Take us out.
How am I taking us out?
However you want.
Whatever feels right.
I don't know. I got nothing.
Braden?
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll get back to you when we get back to you, all right? Peace.
You know where to find us.